and you want it turned in. How did I get to the assessment area? Okay, let me go back a step. So wherever you're at in your course and you want to add an assessment, it's just add material. Or if I want to put it right here in smack middle here for some reason, I can hit the green dotted line and I still get my add material. So it's the add assessment, the puzzle piece button. I want it to show up here on the right for my students so it goes on their calendar. So I'm going to put a date for when it's due. You can choose your points. And then submissions. Do I want them to be able to submit their work? Enable until a certain date, so it'll shut off at a certain date. I want it open from this date to this date, or I don't want them doing anything in it right now. So I'm just going to put enable. It's open, take it at how you want. So then there's the password. So this would be good if you don't want kids working ahead and you can constantly change the password or make a password for each class, and they can't get the password till they verbally hear you say it in class. So this is a great way to kind of lock down your assessment on your students. You do have to choose that grading category, as we did in the PL earlier with the gradebook configuration. You need these grading categories because this is how it connects with Power Teacher Pro. The grading period should be set up in your courses. Like if it's a year-long course, the grading period should be there. If it's semester 1, quarter 1, it should be there. You shouldn't have to choose this. The factor is the weight of the assignment. And then if you know for sure you want this to go to the gradebook, check this. If you're not sure, you might want it later. I would uncheck it. Best practice, leave it unchecked. You can send it later. It's not a big deal. Then you need to choose your grade scale, which is point value. High school, yours should show up for you because there is the new grade scale. It is coming. You can individually assign to pockets of students or groups of students or just your entire class if you do nothing. Is it published now, not published? Do you want to gather grade statistics like the mean, median, mode, highest grade, lowest grade? And then do you want this assessment to go to multiple courses? So this is here. Oops, I can't select it yet because it hasn't been available. So I guess I'm enrolled in too many courses, it says. So you should be able to send it to multiple courses if you need it for multiple. So once you have set this up, you're ready to create. So I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead somewhere in your course, hit add material, add assessment, and go ahead and do this part. You know, that's a good question, Reba. Let me go look. So I'll go ahead and give you a minute while I try to answer Reba's question.
Thank you.
Reba, so here's your answer. I went ahead and I selected all sections because remember your sections are linked.
Right.
And then I selected all. So here's period 1. You can put when it's available.
Yes.
And then you get to do the submissions and individual passwords.
Oh, I like the password idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
that's
question.
perfect. Yeah, clutch. I don't want my 7th period kids taking the test first period while they're sitting in lunch, or I mean, you know, and hey, the server's got a test up there. So yeah.
And if you have an individual password, like 6th period, you're monkey. 6th
Yeah,
period, monkey.
That's a really good idea too. Then you could probably differentiate a little bit easier with your SPED kids. So that, I don't know, I think that, okay, that's all I really needed to know that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's better to use an assessment because there's actually 18 assessment type questions. So you'll see that here in our next couple steps. Where an assignment, it's more like you're attaching like asynchronous work for the student. like a Google file or a Cami. And assessment has like the multiple choice, drag and drop, fill in the blank, graphing, number line. All right, everybody get to this point. You get this set up and you're ready to hit create. All right, we're going to dive in and hit create. And then it's going to take you straight into that assessment. So an assessment in Schoology has a little bit more bells and whistles than it did in Powerful Learning. So you can already see it here and how this was set up for you. So you have the 4 categories at the top, and you can see that we're currently in setup. You can always preview what you're doing. And then you have these different actions where you can go back to edit the last screen we were at, just completely unpublish it, copy it to other courses. You can print your assessment. And then if you like it and want to use it over and over, you can save it back to your resources, which would be a great way to share it with a co-teacher. So we're going to stay in this setup for a little bit. So here is where you can put in your directions. If you need to do any like how-to videos for doing this, you need to link any articles, websites, this would be the place to do it because you can type in here, you can hyperlink, you can hit the sideways arrow with the box to import different media. So then down here you have some different settings, which back on our slide deck, we really start to dive into these for you. So here's the instructions with some different tips for you. Right now we are on the assessment settings, okay? So have a time limit, yes or no. If I put yes, you can choose how many minutes. So I can say you literally have 30 minutes. Assessment questions are randomly ordered. So this way students can't be sitting next to each other and both be working on question 1 at the same time. Show possible points for each question during the attempt. Say this question is worth 5 points. This question is worth 1 point. So do you want them to see it on that? That is very similar to Google Forms and how you can show that. Then you have the toolbar for students. This is where they have their own tools on the assessment, which is very similar to iLearn and going to be FastBridge. So can they flag questions for review? Yes, that's a skill we usually teach them. Flag those questions to come back to later. Do you want them to have the eliminator tool? I would say yes, because we do give that on iLearn as an eliminator tool. How about a calculator? Yes or no? Do you want a basic or do you want the scientific? Can they use a ruler? Yes, 15 centimeters or yes, 6 inches? And then can they use a protractor on questions that need one? Yes or no? How about highlighting text? Do you want to give them the option to highlight text? Or how about a notepad where they can kind of take notes and put down their thoughts as they're going? And then finally, the student settings down here at the bottom. Allow students to view results after an attempt is submitted. Yes or no? Do you want them to go back and see their results? Or do you just want to say, I'll turn this on later? How many attempts can they submit? Is this a one-time thing or is this, I'm going to tell you it's a one-time thing, but then really it's actually multiple times because I want you to do your best. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to dive into this section and kind of play with these different features right here on this. And then don't go to questions yet. We're going to go to questions in about a minute. So I'll go ahead and give you a minute. Okay, that was about a minute. Hope you're feeling good. You kind of played in here. Now, don't forget, this is something you can come back and edit, because I know this is new because we didn't have all these bells and whistles back in Power School Learning. So now we're ready to toggle over to questions. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to hit save. Always hit save. That's one thing with it. Always hit save. Don't want to lose our work. So now I'm ready to go to questions. So here are all of your options, okay? There is no way in a 50-minute session I could go over all of these with you. So I've selected a few to go over today, but I want to direct you back to our slide deck starting on slide 11. You're going to see a short little video with some quick little tips and tricks for you to do with the different ones, okay? And then here at the end, I'm also going to get you in a PL course where you can be a student. And we have created an assessment with all 18 question types for you to practice as a student, because you don't always get that opportunity to be a student in a course. So we are going to do fill in the blank. And if you look, you have blank text, blank drop down, and drag and drop blank. So I'm actually going to do blank text. So they all pretty much come in the same way. You're going to have the question set up, the answer area, and just the different parameters to set this up. And that's why I really like these short little 2 to 3 minute videos, because Schoology themselves have done the step-by-step of what each part is. So I'm going to put the dog. And if you notice, it says to create a blank, type in underscore. 1 underscore equals 1 blank. So I'm going to hit space, and I'm going to do shift underscore. And right there, it just said, there's my response. Okay. So I just did shift underscore and it put that in. And then I finished my sentence. So the dog blank to the park. And if you look, it's kind of set up here. And then here, I can type in my correct answer. I can obviously give more than 1 correct answer. I can do, it has to be an exact match, a partial. I can get really nitty gritty and have penalty scores. I can choose how many characters I allow. Is it case sensitive? Because we know sometimes with those littles, they kind of struggle doing that capitalization. Who am I kidding? Even the big kids struggle with those capital letters sometimes, but we need them to start doing those capital letters. And then you can actually tie this specific question type to standards. So you can start to get that breakdown of the different standards you are assessing. Okay. And then if I want to preview what my question would look like, there it is. I can do show questions. I can go back to edit the question. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a minute to try out fill in the blank. Remember, it's just shift underscore once to get 1 fill in the blank. They are not locked out of the other apps. This is not a secure browser, so they still can be sneaky and go to another site to get a calculator. Make sure once you are done with your question, you go ahead and save it, so it'll come back to here. Everyone doing okay with the shift underscore to get that fill in the blanks response area? You know, Sherry, I do believe there was a spot for accents. I'm gonna have to reach out to Eric. He is like a plethora of like Ask Jeeves. I feel like he would know where to do that. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure Schoology speaks your language. Okay, so that was the fill in the blank. You can hit the three dots to edit, duplicate it because you want to do multiple fill in the blanks. So then you just want to copy that as like a template and start using it. Okay, or if you're not happy, you can delete it. So the next one we're going to look at that I thought would be a good one is this label image. Okay, so I'm going to select label image. And you're going to see it set up pretty similar to the last one. There's just a couple more different features. So once again, in our slide deck, that is in here. We just did fill in the blank. There's label image. So there's some text for you. There's the video, but we're going to go ahead and do this one together. So you have the question set up. They all pretty much have this where you get that nice little toolbar and you're able to give them a prompt. Label the image. Terms. So you can put whatever you want. You can obviously attach more different media, articles, websites, you have that ability, videos. So then you have to upload an image. So I have previously downloaded an image. So if your course comes with an image, like it's on your website for your textbook, or you found one, so you're going to upload. So you can do a URL from a website if you would like to use that, but I've already downloaded an image. So I'm going to hit that plus and it's going to go to my computer. So it's parts of a plant. I'm going to open it. It's going to give me a preview so I can decide I want to replace it. I don't like the way it looks. It gives me the little URL for it. Once I'm happy, I'm going to hit OK. And here it is. Okay, we're not done though. So I do need to title it Flower. And then you're going to notice there's this plus response box. So I'm going to select that. And now it's thrown one box on my page. So I'm going to drag the box here. Whoa, I don't know why it's so flashy. There we go. But as you can see, I need more. So I'm going to hit it again. Now I have another box. And so I can just go ahead and create all these boxes by hitting response box and then drag them down onto my page. Whoa, I don't know why this is so flashy today. So for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and come down here and now I can do possible responses. Okay. So I can do petal, then I can add more, stem, seed. So I can just add all my different possible options that they could put in. And then if you look down here, I'm in the correct answer setup. And then I had put in those possible options and they're down here. And I can start to drag those up into the individual boxes to give the correct answers. And then I can say they can have duplicate responses. Does it have to be exact, partial? I can change the dimensions of that photo. I can tie it to standards as well. So this one's a little bigger, and as you can see, it's a little more time consuming to set up because I got to create all these boxes. Then I got to put in my possible answers, and then I got to drag up my answers for my answer key. So I'm going to go ahead and give you about 2 to 3 minutes to play with this one. And this was label image. And I'm here if you have any questions. All right, time to come back. Yes, so on our mini Ignite, where you got all the links for today, we should be linking all of our videos there for you. And a lot of these Schoology videos, we actually tend to link here on our integrated site under Schoology. So we have a big resource library available. Okay, so that was label image. Now we're going to do something slightly different called highlight hotspot. This was a new question type I've never seen. It was a little tricky to learn, so I thought this would be a great one to cover. It's called highlight hotspot. We'll go ahead and let it load. So now that it's loaded, you can see I have the white text box to put in my different directions for my students of what I want them to do, or any media that might go with the assessment question for them. Then I need to upload an image. You might have to kind of think outside the box. I went back to my elementary days for this one. So I'm going to, you can either upload from a link from a website, or if you have one downloaded. So I did this one. This is my inner mom coming out because I've been working with my daughter on this. So I have it, I can preview it, and then I'm going to say okay. So if you look, this is a worksheet that says color the picture that matches the short vowel sound that is shown. So I could tell them to select the image that shows the short vowel sound. Okay, so there that is. So then I want you to notice that on my image, I now see draw. Okay, so I have it selected. I'm going to click once, it's going to create a point, and then it's going to create lines. And I have to use the lines to go around an object to close it. Okay, so you clearly can't do a circle, but you can do any other shape. Okay, obviously circles because they have no sides. So I'm going to do literally over each box. So I clicked in this corner. Now do you see how I have this line? So I'm going to click on this corner and it connects it, but I'm still connected because I haven't closed this shape. And now I've selected that and I have one object. Okay. So if this is a lot of work for this worksheet, so this is probably why this was not a good example, but I just have to close this and there's my second object. Okay. If you look at the video in the slide deck, I think they used an animal to talk about the different parts of the meat that's on the animal. So that one had a lot less of this connecting. Okay. So I'm just going to do this for my example.
Billy, stop it. Stop eating that.
So then if you look down here, I get to choose my correct answer. So I'm going to say that the cat is my correct answer. I can allow for multiple responses. Okay, especially because I have multiple options here. I would at least need to have 5 responses selected if I set this up properly. And I can tie it to standards. And then I can also preview what my question would look like for the students. Okay, and I can actually practice like a student and see how my scores would come through. Then I can go back to edit. As you can tell, this one is a little smaller. So you can play around with the different sizings. So obviously I did not do a good job there, but you can mess around with the sizing. So go ahead and I'll give you a couple minutes to play with this one and try to explore it. The hardest part is when you're in that draw mode, you have to remember you have to like kind of close in that shape to get that clickable option. So I'll go ahead and give you a couple minutes. How'd you do? Was that one harder? I know I found that one harder, but there is a really good video on the slide deck for that one.
Yeah, and as you look, they were using the meat on a cow to do theirs. No.
That video was very helpful in teaching me. So the last one I'm going to highlight is a chart. So this one does have a little bit more bells and whistles for setup. So let me go find it here. So on the chart, there is a video in the slide deck. It's slide 25. So you still get to set up your question, your problem, any media, once again here. The chart itself, you need to put the title. So I'm just going to put candy. And then the y-axis, the value, I'll put 10. The x-axis title, I'll put type. And then for the title of the y, I will put, okay. So then I get to do the x-axis setup. Only points marked interactive will allow the test taker to modify the point value in the chart. So this means, here in a minute, we're going to get you into a sandbox to play with this question. The students get to do some drag and drop, okay? So that's what all of this means and why you get to label the different ones, like species. And then, oh, as you can see down here, it's starting to show. So there's my title, the number of votes, and then the type, and you can see me putting in the different titles down here. And then let's see, we'll do one more. Okay, so you can start to see the question is previewing here, and then I can either manually input the value, which is 4, or I can, as you see, drag it. So I'm just clicking and holding as I'm dragging it. And then if I take off the interactive, the students won't be as interactive with it. And then there is the option to preview the question as well to see it from the student point. So if you look, I've already put in that value and now they can't change it. So if I make it interactive, take away the value, preview the question, now it looks different. Now my student can change it. That's what that interactive meant for my student. Okay, so this is another one you kind of have to play with, get a little creative in how you would use it with your class and what kind of question. This question that you set up here would really drive how they interact with this down here. So this is where you would probably need to attach some data, maybe a video, an article, and then you go ahead and save it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple minutes to play with this one, because as you can see, this one was a little trickier. And do I want it interactive? Do I not? How do I want to set up my prompt? Oh, Northbrook's time to change classes, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and give you 2 minutes to play with the charts question.
Rachel, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so on this one, if you put interactive, then that bar graph is going to fluctuate as they are answering.
Yes, and how they answer is, if you see these arrows, I'm able to click it and drag. This is me moving it because I'm clicking and holding it.
But how do they do it?
They're going to do it the same way. This is how it would look for a student. So they would see up here your prompt. I just haven't put in my prompt yet to tell them how to interact with this. So if my problem was to solve the math to tell me how many students chose Reese's, Snickers.
So they're rating the candy on a scale of 0 to 10.
Yeah, you could have it set that way.
Okay.
Sure.
Rachel, do you know if using this the chart thing, is there a way to do other kinds of graphs like line graphs or anything like that?
There is no line graph, but there is a number line.
There's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that mathematical piece, it is slightly limited there.
Okay, no problem.
So, and it looks like it's more plotting for the number line.
Okay.
This couldn't be a poll though. You couldn't just be, could you use that as a poll? Or
I
they would
mean-
just be able to put in as
I-
many, like I could put 10 for Reese's on your graph, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could use it that way as a poll and just set it up for one question. In your courses, you should have an option in your announcement area to do a poll. But you can't do as many as you did last year, unfortunately. So I went into a course, I'm in updates,
And it's down there at the bottom.
and it's right here, poll. So
Oh, okay.
it's limited on where in Power School Learning, we could put one on every page. We do not have that option in Schoology. That is one downfall. So definitely use this slide deck to dive into all the different question types. We've definitely needed a tutorial for you versus I sit and regurgitate everything. It's more of a hands-on tutorial. All I did was I just took the time and built 18 questions trying to use all these formats to learn how to use it. And then if you looked, we've gone through setup, we've gone through questions. We haven't done grading. So this is where I could grade. If you look, I could do it by question, or I can just do it by student to kind of sort my grading to do that. And then I have reporting, and it's going to start to break up my assessment, like the average student, what's the average on this question for my students? You know, that typical breakdown for you. And with no students in here, I can't see that. So, and remember, I had created this in my PL box, so it's already in a course. That was one downfall with Power School Learning, was you had to go create it in the assessment section to then publish it, to then go assign it in a course. I just created it right here within my content. So I don't have to tell it to go anywhere. It's already right where I wanted it anyway, ready to go. But if I want to move it to other courses, because I need it in different sections, I can move it that way.
Rachel, I have a question. Like, you know how Power School Learning give us the bulk, and so we have a lot of, I have a lot of assessments that came over. If I put them in my, I think I know the answer to this, but if I put them in my resources, they're just there, or do I have to move them from Power School bulk? Will that particular little button always be there?
It will always be there. You do have the power to delete it. And so like, if you looked at mine, I have 3. Okay, looks like they're doing one now, everyone, because we have made it such a priority today. So some of you might be seeing
Oh my
it. So
gosh.
in the time I've sat here, I now have another
You
one.
got another one. Okay. You got 4?
Yeah, so I'm telling you, we have been working with them very hard because there is a small pocket of teachers it's not happening with. So, I mean, this goes to show that we are fighting for you. So if I look here, this one only has one of mine, but this will always stay here. I mean,
Okay.
clearly they just keep adding it. Like this first one really doesn't do much for me. It doesn't have everything.
I
don't
don't have anything.
Yeah, I don't have to keep it. I can delete it. We're
Okay.
not going to take it away. You can
Okay.
delete it.
I deleted my first one. Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you? Okay, so we're going to let you try to be a student now to try all 18 question types, because I feel that's very beneficial to see how they all work from the student standpoint. So Sarah just dropped in the chat a course code, and that's for this course. Some of you are already in it from previous PL. So if you look over here, there's the sample assessment. If you hit that, it'll let you try all the different questions. So if you don't know how to join a course, you just hit courses. My course is over here in the top right. And then you're going to hit the blue join a course and put that code in that Sarah dropped. Why do I have a tool button? You want to be special too. So this is an analytics tool for admin to check out your analytics in their school. You have one for your courses. So let me go back to one of my courses. So actually, I'm going to use this PL course. So in your course on the left, you will see analytics for your individual courses. So if you hit analytics, I can start to see all the activity of my students in my course. When they last accessed it, how much time they actually spent on my course. Like I can see Betsy has joined my course, but she has never done anything on my course. But she's been in Schoology, she was in it yesterday, but she's never been in my course. So I really like these analytics. And then let's see. So if I hit a student, it's going to dive deeper into their analytics.
Alabama.
So I can see the assignment. Has she submitted it? How many submissions she's done? Has she spent any time on it? Has she even accessed it? So this is fantastic for me to dive into the analytics of an assignment with a student. My discussions, she hasn't done anything with my discussions. And then my assessments, she has not done anything with my assessments. So that was a really great analytics tool. And don't forget, it's in every sandbox, not every sandbox, every course you have with students. It's right here on the left is your analytics. So all of you will have that power to see all of that, and you can really call them out, and it's going to be so much fun. Did everybody get into the course that wanted to get in the course to try out the assessment? You cannot rename a course after you create it. We turned off the ability to edit course names because if you rename a rostered course, it actually like breaks the connection with PowerSchool SIS. So then it doesn't sync anymore. So your new students can't come in, your old students can't leave, you can't sync to Gradebook. So we had to completely turn it off. Now, if you've made a sandbox or something that you want to repurpose and use for something else, feel free to reach out to your coordinator or myself or Sarah Scheib or Sarah McClure. We have the ability to go in and rename it. So we can help you rename it or change the time frame of that course.
Hello. That's okay.
And this PL
Yeah, I
sandbox,
think I actually brush my teeth at all.
this PL sandbox that you joined, we're not going to make you stay in here forever. You can email me if you want kicked out, or probably by September, I will go ahead and manually kick everyone out so we're not cluttering your Schoology pages. This was just a tool for you to have to see it from an actual student viewpoint. I'm going to put the exit slip in the chat. We're down to 1 minute. Feel free to ask any questions. If you want to grab some lunch, feel free. We all start back up at 1 o'clock. I will not be leading the next Schoology session, so you get a break from me. You get new voices next session. Can you add sections to a course that you have created? I think you can. You can try it. If not, let me know, and then we can see if Art End is able to do it. Oh, absolutely. If you want to stay on and I pick you out, let me know and I'll put you back in that course. I have no problem. And all of these question types, I've actually taken this entire assignment because I put all the assignment examples in one folder. I put that whole folder on our integrated group page. So if you want to take them and use them with your students, I made them a template for you to grab. Oh, I guess I sent you the presentation. I'm sorry. Thanks, Sarah. This is what happened when I've been on it too long. Well, thank you for coming. Enjoy your lunch. I hope you get something good. I think Eric's gonna drag us over to Salsa Grill. So if you're out by Northrop, we're going to Salsa Grill, everyone.
Rachel, I still don't see it.
Do what?
The exit,
Let's see.
when I clicked on this one, it went to, I think it was the form. It was the slides.
All right, Sarah just reposted it in the chat. Try that one.
Okay, right here.
Yes, she does a better job of sharing links than me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for spending the morning with us.
Thank you.